Hello YouTube, welcome to a new ILO RPG Magic Hero War. Today we'll be doing a hero review on the hero Shabanur, a dark hero that is very versatile and can be built in many different ways depending on what your team needs. Right now I have him built as my main DPS, so I have attack, skill damage and crit on him. My talisman skill is not the best because I would love to get the mythical attack mark and the mythical double critical mark to increase his DPS output even further. He's an AoE hero, so he would nuke the enemy team depending on how much skill damage, critical damage and attack you have on him. Here are his acquired talents, which we will get back to later in the video, and I'll explain how these talents will affect his build and will affect what he will do for your team. He can be used in a lot of game modes. Arena, for example, is where he really shines. If you realize I have him in the first slot, and you might think, why have him in the first slot if he's a main DPS, which is supposed to be protected? But because of his skills, having him in the first slot would increase his DPS, and I'll explain why as the video goes on. If you realize whenever he get hit, you would see an attack up mark comes up every time he gets hit. That's because of his passive. His passive allows him, and before I explain that, I'll go on to explain to you why I have him like this, and I'll explain his passive as well. And if you realize that during the fight he gets really low coming down to the end, and that's cool, he's more of a glass cannon. At the earlier stage of the fight he would dish out a ton of damage, and as the fight goes on he'll most likely die off, which is okay. Here are his skills. Demon Shadow. Sortilin deals 100% attack damage to all enemies and has 30% chance to petrify the target for 2 rounds, with 50% chance to reduce target's energy by 24. Normal attack has 55% chance to petrify the target for 2 rounds, and with shadow energy he also reduces enemy energy on his normal attack. Dark Force increases attack and speed. Now his passive, Super Evil, when taking damage, has 30% chance to increase self attack by 50% for 2 rounds and has 65% chance to decrease the attacker's energy by 20. So his passive allows him to debuff the enemy by removing their energy and increase his own DPS by 50%. Increase his own attack, by 50%. I hit with him alone in Watchland. I am able to get to round 12 easily, no healers. Just with him being in my roster, as you can see, 50% attack, 30% armor. If you have Lilith and Monkey King, even better, but with him alone he's extremely good. I won't recommend him in a legendary sanctuary because that's a one bar stage. His damage is lacking in 1 bar stage. In Magical Tower he's amazing as well in Magical Tower, because with him in the front row he gets hit by multiple enemies, which that is what you want. You want him to get hit a lot. Right now you see I have him in the second position. That's because I fought previous floors had enemies that would reduce your energy. You don't want that, so I put him in the second slot. I will do another fight after this with him in the first slot, so you can see what he can do whenever he's being hit a lot. So let's switch him. Let's switch him and try again, and let's see what he will do when being attacked. So as you can see, more attack up again, and his first active, let's see, 4.8 million. So if you notice, the fight is already over because most of the enemy team is already gone just from one active. And his second active, let's see what he does again. 4.2 million. So as the fight goes on and as the enemy team numbers reduce, his damage would lower because he is more powerful when there's a lot of enemies hitting him. Where in all aspects of the arena, he shines. Any game mode where he's being hit a lot, that's where you would want him. Arena, airship, watchtower, magical tower, watchland, all those game modes where he's being hit. Guild wars, especially PvP, he shines in PvP just because of his passive alone. Just because of his passive, he is amazing. So I spoke about him dying off. If you wouldn't want him to die off, you can use this artifact on him, Hero's Immortality, which would grant him the ability to resurrect himself once for battle. Similar to his light counterpart, who I'll get into in a bit. That Hero's Immortality artifact would put him somewhat on par to please his light counterpart, just lacking the ability to heal himself. Other artifacts that are really good for him would be Ring of Vengeance, because it grants him additional skill damage, which is amazing on him. So you want a skill damage, crit damage, anything that increases DPS output, that's where you go. Death Spike Necklace is another amazing artifact for his DPS build. If you wanna go to CC build, Fallen Hero Grade artifact would be amazing because of the initial energy it gives. So as the battle begins, you can petrify. You have the ability to petrify a lot of enemy heroes right off the bat. But I personally do not have him as a CC hero because he's slow. Because he's an S rank hero, he's not an S plus hero, he's an S rank hero, which means he's slower than most of the enemies you would meet, because most teams would have S plus heroes, so their speed is higher than him. And that's a good thing. Because with him being slower than the enemy, which means he would get hit more before he can get to use his active. So building him as a CC hero is not bad, but I personally do not go down that road. I like the ability. I like that the scenario of him being hit a lot, then nuking the enemy teams, and that's what I want. So for his acquired talent, I had him on speed. I'm gonna change it, build him attack, CC, skill damage, and of course his ultimate ability. And what this does now, it makes him much slower. Just removing that little bit of speed makes him much slower, and you will see why I think this is the better way to go. So let's see, attack up, that's 3. That's 3 attack up already. That's 150%. And as you can see, his first active wasn't too powerful because he, as I said, he doesn't have the highest crit. He doesn't have the highest crit damage. His skill damage is okay, but it can be better. And as you can see, even though he's not fully built, he still would nuke the enemy team. So as I said, more like a glass cannon. And in earlier rounds he would destroy the enemy teams, and later on he will die off. Like I said earlier as well, in airship he's extremely good in airship, just because he's being hit a lot. He's being hit a lot from the enemy. But I won't stick too long in the airship because there's multiple stages, so I will just skip through that. Depending on how you build him, you will want to use different gear sets. Courage set, I think, is a really good set for his DPS build because it increases his attack and his crit rate, so it increases the amount of DPS he can put out. If you want him to survive a bit more, you can go for the oak set, which would increase his health, grant him damage reduction, and he would still do good DPS, but he will be more survivable in this scenario. I don't want him to survive, so I build him with the courage set. If you also want to go as a CC hero, he is susceptible to being CC, so controlled immunity would be the way to go if you want to be the CC hero. So the Warlock set is the best for the CC hero build. With that being said, like I said, he can be built in many different ways, just depending on what your team needs. So as I said, I will go along HP, attack, CC chance, speed, hit, skill damage, and of course his evil spirit, which would grant more chance to reduce enemies' attack. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you want more daily content.